Hello, YouTube. I hope you're having a fabulous July 4th. It's hot outside, so your girl is inside under the AC. Yes. Last night, I was going to see Shakespeare in the Park, but it started to rain, so I'm happy I opted out and stayed the fuck home. This is just a relaxation weekend for me. And Monday is back to the grind, so I'm definitely relaxing and taking a breathing, because these days are necessary. Yes. But it's very hot. Please stay hydrated. Drink as much water as you can and stay hydrated. And Nature is calling everybody saying conserve energy. Ain't nobody conserving fucking energy. It's fucking hot. Listen, I woke up, I was listening to the voicemail. They like, oh, whatever. For me, I am, because when I'm not in my room, I make sure I turn everything off. And when I'm not in my living room, I make sure I turn it off. So, like, I went to bed at 1. I went to sleep right away. And I woke up at like 11. So that's like almost 12 hours that my AC in the living room was off. So my son ain't here, so his AC is not on, so I'm conserving but for the people who have multiple kids, they got their iPads and stuff, so you ain't nobody conserving energy. And people that's home all day, all night, that ain't working, like with me, I go to work, so that's when my stuff is off, but yeah, like I'm home, so I ain't conserving. I'm conserving as far as like whatever room I'm in is gonna be on or off. But I need a new AC for my room anyway. I went to sleep with a fan and I was good, thankfully. you know. But yeah, let's get right into it with this story time. I had to share it. It was TikTok is on a roll. Like, I remember I made a TikTok, but I didn't really understand how it goes. My son encouraged me. Because I do story times and I do stories. He was like, Mom, you should make a TikTok, but it wasn't flowing right, so I just, deleted it or whatever. But I like to watch it on YouTube. That's like my favorite thing to do now. That's like I love watching TikTok stories on YouTube. So this story I thought was very informative and I thought it was very good because it shows that people really ain't shit. And I say that in the most nicest way possible. Like, people are really fucked up and selfish, and that's why I had to share this story. So basically, this story takes place in Miami, girls trip. It was 10 people. First of all, I feel like that is way too many people to go on a trip with. That's just my personal opinion. I've been invited to people's family trips, and I've opted out because it's just too many people. That's just me, right? So with this girls trip, everybody was friends, and it was 10 people. So they go to Miami, everything's going good, except for this one girl named Maya that was boy crazy, right? So you got to be careful with people like that. They want a dude to pay for everything or whatever. So she plays it off like the dude is coming up to her like, oh, let me get your number, this, that, and the third. All the while she knew the nigga. Keep that in mind. So she's playing it off. We gonna call the guy, the girl named Miami, we gonna call the guy Ferrari because he rented a Ferrari or whatever. So she playing it off like she not feeling him. And so the girl that's telling the story, she didn't say her name, but she looked like a stud. So we're gonna call her Stud. So Stud is very smart and observant. Like, she's very, like, I love her energy and her personality because she's a genuine nice person, but she was too nice, and I'm gonna explain why. So she's a very beautiful person, like very empathetic and stuff. She actually didn't know Maya, but she still had empathy or whatever. So Maya is fronting like she not interested in the dude. She's like, oh, I don't know why he keep calling my phone. And one thing that Stud said was, she was like, well, if you don't want him calling your phone, block it, right? So that's the new thing now. Like, there used to be a time when you couldn't block a number. I remember that because it was dudes that was blowing up my phone in the 2000s into the 2010s, 11, 12, 13, 14. And it wasn't until about 15, 16 that, because there was times when I had blocked a number and the person was still able to call. So it didn't really perfect itself. Like, blocking wasn't perfected, I would say, until like after the pandemic, where it's actively like really good to block. So this is a recent story, I'm assuming. So she's telling her like, yo, block him if you don't want communication with him. So that was red flag number one, that she went and blocked this nigga who kept calling her or whatever, right? So fast forward, and she's such a good storyteller, because she actually was talking for like a good hour before the what I would call the climax. So Maya, she went from not being interested to then she's like, oh, Ferrari's gonna come. Mind you, they have their own Airbnb. They all put in for a boat ride. Like, these girls were, everybody had money and whatever. Maya goes, oh, she wants Ferrari and his friends to come on the boat. Stud is like, hell no. They didn't pay for this boat. This is a girls trip. This is our boat. If they got money and they portraying themselves like they got it like that, why don't they have their own shit? Like, no. Stud was like, no, they're not coming on this boat. And it's not because she's gay or lesbian or whatever, but she's right. Like, why should they come on our boat? We paid for this. It's not going down, So Maya was like, oh, why can't they come on the boat? For me, that's a red flag, because she's so fucking boy crazy. And people like that you have to be aware of. If you're going on a girls trip, it shouldn't be dudes around at all. It's a girls trip. Like, it's not that serious. She's like, oh, but he could pay for this and pay for that. We paying for our own shit. We don't need dudes. We got jobs. What? Like, so I wanted to put that out there. Like, if you're traveling with a woman and she's boy crazy and everything is, oh, they gonna pay, and she just want to be around niggas, that is a red flag. And you could pick that up when you hanging out with a chick. There's nothing wrong with talking to niggas. But if it's like when y'all hanging out in a club, when y'all are going out places and everything is about a nigga, she's going to act like that on a trip. Just keep that in mind. Right. So they're on this trip and she's on some Ferrari going to pay for this, Ferrari going to pay for that. And Stud is like, no, we don't need him to pay for nothing. And you said you was not interested. Like, what's really good with you? So the next day, or maybe the 2 days after, whatever, Maya is missing. Like, they don't know where she is. She's not on her social media. She's not picking up her phone. And then her family is calling Stud's friend. Stud don't know nobody on the trip but her friend, right? Her friend, we'll call her the trip planner. The trip planner, this girl's mother, Maya's mom, is calling her. The family is accusing them of doing something to her, and they like, y'all must have did something because she's not answering the phone, she's not on social media. They go on Instagram, she's not on there. Like, naturally when you on vacation, you're gonna post pictures. She's not posting anything. She's gone, right? So naturally, I think the family acted appropriately, but the story is good. The story, after hearing this story, it's teaching me as a family member or whatever, do not jump to conclusions, right? So, they're panicking. They're accusing the friends of, well, where is our sister, daughter, cousin, whatever. The girl that was the trip planner, they leaked out her phone number. So people from social media are now calling her phone. Like, it got ugly because this girl is missing and nobody knows where she's at. So basically, Stud, she's like the smartest one in the group. Stud is like, yo, let's go to security and look back on the footage. So sure enough, the security guard complied, and they look back in the footage, and she runs like a track star to the Ferrari car. So it was a little shocking because she claimed that she didn't like this dude, but she runs into his car from Airbnb. So Stud admitted, she was like, yo, I'm a heavy sleeper. Was y'all arguing or something? Because she was like, when people argue or whatever, she'll sleep through the whole thing. Me personally, I'm a heavy sleeper like that too. But if it's continual arguing, I am going to wake up eventually. Like, it takes me a while. Like, even when I was a kid, when my parents was arguing, sometimes you got to train yourself to go to sleep because they not going to stop. So that's where that comes from. So I could identify with that. Sometimes if you grow up in a noisy environment, you have to train yourself to go to sleep. Otherwise, you'll just never sleep. And then now that I'm living in the projects, it's always noise. So you train your body and yourself to go to sleep, because you need sleep regardless, right? So I totally get that. She's like, yeah, people could be arguing, I'm still gonna get my sleep because it has nothing to do with me. I'm gonna sleep. So she was like, did something happen last night? Like, why did she like run from the Airbnb? They was like, no, nothing happened, X, Y, and Z. Cool. So the girl is missing. Stud is feeling bad. Like I said, Stud is a very empathetic person, so she internalizes everything, which is, you can't do that. So Stud is feeling bad, like, yo, this girl is missing. But the girls are like, they, like what some people do, they go to Miami and then they'll go on a cruise next, or for them it was Vegas. They was like, yeah, we going to Vegas. It's sad that she missing, but deuces, we heading out. She like, what y'all mean y'all going to Vegas? This girl is missing. They was like, listen, it's non-refundable at this point because we got to be in Vegas tomorrow and everything is paid for, X, Y, and Z. We took off of work, PTO, like how we look coming back, and whatever. So Stud is feeling like, yo, y'all are trifling, like this girl is missing, whatever. They was like, yo, we got to go. Bye. So Stud takes a flight home. She wasn't going to go to Vegas anyway, but she feel like, yo, that's fucked up. Y'all are supposed to be her friends from middle school and shit like that, and the girl missing and y'all don't care. They like, yo, we do care, but we have this is what we supposed to do, which is true. And I'm just like Stud, like, I internalize everything, but I'm learning to not give a fuck. And I'm gonna tell you, the story gets better. Trust me on this. So, the chef, thank God for the chef. So one thing about this story that is so good, the security guard to the chef to everybody was very accommodating. So Stud was able to think on her feet with this situation, and I'm very proud of her. So the chef hits up Stud, and he's at the airport, and he's like, yo, I think I see Maya. So lo and behold, who was Maya with? Ferrari. So she's like, she don't believe it. She's like, oh my God, are you dead ass? So he's like, yeah, it's her. So she's like, well, give me a description. So he describes her, and she's like, wow, that sounds like her. She was like, put your phone up. She was like, FaceTime me and walk over there. So he walks over there, and sure enough, it's her. She was like, yo, pass the phone to her. Let me speak to her. So this girl that's been missing for 2 days, nobody's heard from her friends or her family. You know what this hoe said? She said, why are y'all on my dick? I'm a grown-ass woman. Y'all shouldn't be looking for me. I'm nobody's child. Right? Now, so she's like, oh, wow. I just spoke to Maya, da-da-da. The mother is in disbelief. They get in contact with the mother. She finally calls Maya. Maya finally picks up the phone. Because remember, Maya wasn't picking up the phone. She's like, stop calling me. I'm okay. I'm going to check you. I'm going to talk to you when I talk to you. So everybody's hearing this conversation between her and her mother. And it's like, wow. You have to be careful with who you feel sorry for. And Stud, she felt so stupid because I think with the friends that went to Vegas, they probably had an inkling that she probably would be, it's probably something that she does. And sure enough, Stud was like, when she posted this story, she had so many people. She had one person that actually DM'd her and was like, yo, I know exactly who you talking about. And that's something that she does. She goes on trips and she disappears with different niggas. Like, that's just, she's boy crazy. There's no other way to describe it. So I'm looking at the comments, and also Stud had replied to some of her comments, and people assume she's sex trafficked and stuff. No, she is not sex trafficked. She willingly went with this guy, and they're traveling the world together. They was seen in the airport going to Atlanta. She left when she left all her stuff behind. That's why they thought she was missing, because she left her stuff behind. But she has other shit. She don't need that shit. She ran into the guy's Ferrari, but she wanted to be with him. She is not being sex trafficked. She is not missing, and she told her own mother to fuck off, basically. And she said it. She's like, I don't understand. This is what she said verbatim. I don't understand why other grown people is looking for me. I'm grown. I'm nobody's child. Leave me alone. That's exactly what she said. And the moral of the story is, be careful who you feel sorry for. You know, Stud was concerned about this girl. She didn't know her. That was her friend's friend. But this girl is missing and she felt bad. You know who didn't feel bad? Her childhood friends, because this is something that she does. So it struck a chord with me, because you do have people like that. You do have people who, they will disappear on you. They will just go ghost. That's like the new trend now, because people feel so entitled. I think a little bit is entitlement, and they just feel like nobody cares about them anyway. So you're gonna have people who go ghost. I will say, whether you're a family member or a friend, never jump to conclusions until you find out the truth for sure. Even like with my situation, I went on a trip with Aruba with my son, and we had a good time, but he disappeared for like an hour. I didn't know where he was. And you know what his attitude was? He said to me, he said, you shouldn't have taken so long in the spa. So even though my son, I raised him to be a certain type of way, there are people who walk amongst us that don't give a fuck. Like, you could raise a person to be a certain type of way. You could be friends with somebody and they could, but you have people out here that don't give a fuck. They don't care. They only care about themselves, and you can't care more than the person. You know, I could only imagine how that mother felt, but I kind of have an idea, because my son did it to me in Aruba. And now I'm skeptical about traveling with him, because that's his now I see that that's his personality. Like, he's going to do what he wants to do. He's going to disappear. He's going to do him. And there's nothing I could do about it. Some people are like that. They feel like they're grown and they're going to disappear. They feel like, well, if I want to go somewhere and do my own thing, what's wrong with that? Some people, you'll be surprised. Some people really feel like that. They feel like it's nothing wrong with walking off and not saying nothing. They don't feel like it's anything wrong with what they did. Because that's what the girl said. She's like, last time I checked, I'm a whole grown woman. I don't understand why is it grown people looking for me. She said that. Her own mother. She's like, I'll talk to you when I talk to you. It's not that serious. I'm good. I'm okay. That's what she said to her own mother. Like, she wasn't happy that people were looking for her. She was upset that people were looking for her. So I just wanted to put out that PSA announcement. Like, be careful who you feel sorry for, because people, honestly, they just care about themselves. Maya is boy crazy. She don't care about nothing but that dude. And she pushed it off like she didn't know him when she did. She knew him prior to the trip. That's why he approached her, right? And that's who she's going to Atlanta with. To this day, I guess they ran off in the sunset with each other. People always sympathize with a female. They feel like she being sex trafficked. She's not being sex trafficked. That's her boyfriend or boo thing or whatever. She is not being sex trafficked. She is not being held against her will. She willfully went with him. So how you gonna say she's sex trafficked? He did not force her. She ran into that Ferrari willingly. Okay, so that is the moral of the story. Some people that's missing, they want to be missing. They don't want to be found, right? Also, I wanted to say the family, the mother, whatever, they all was like, oh, she would never do something like this, when she actually did something like that before. So the mother, I guess, forgot or was in denial. You cannot be in denial with your kids. You cannot. You have to pay attention to their actions and who they really are. And again, you could raise your child to be a certain way, but they have their own personalities. Me, I'm not like that. My mother taught me, you tell people where you are, right? And that's how I am. I'm very good at communicating. I'm always communicating, whatever. But when you sit back and think about it, a lot of people suck at communicating and they don't care about it. They'll disappear for days, and they will get mad that you try to find out where they were. You have married men that they'll be in a hospital for a weekend, and they will get upset at their wife for calling the hospital. I've seen it in my own family. Like, it's sick. Like, you could be in a hospital and somebody will get, or no, somebody's in a hospital and you're checking up on them and you think you're doing the right thing, and the person gets mad at you because you called the hospital. That's the type of world we live in, guys. And it's been like that. It's nothing new. You always have trifling people. You always have selfish people. And just beware of that. Beware of the boy crazy people, because she's clearly boy crazy. Beware of the people that's fucking selfish, that want to give people a heart attack. They thought this girl was missing. And her attitude is so stink, like, oh, I'm a grown person and I don't understand why there's other grown people looking for me. You came on a trip with other people. Your family, it's not even about the friends. The friends didn't give a fuck. And toodles for the girlies that went to Vegas. I'm very proud of them, because they already knew what time it was. People don't be caring. Like, they really don't. And I don't blame them, because look, she was fine and well going to Atlanta with her boo thing. Imagine if they would have canceled Vegas. They would have they really would have been pissed, right? But it just comes to show you that people be people, and people are selfish. Her own mother, she was telling her, oh, I'm good and you don't need to worry. People automatically assume, oh, she being sex trafficked. She is not being sex trafficked at all. She is not being held against her will, because she was with a group of girls. So let's say if that was the truth, she had an option to stay with the girls. She didn't have to run to his Ferrari. She could have stayed with her girls, and then he would have had no choice but to go about his way, right? Because she had a flight to be with them at the end of the day. That's how you got to think. She is not being forced. This is something she wants to be with him. She wants to be with him. So, yeah, it's just like with the R. Kelly situation. He's guilty of a lot of things, but Jocelyn Savage wants to stick with him, right? Everybody else is home. Ariel, all of them, they all home with their families. Savage is still sticking by her side, though he be in jail, because she does not want to go home. And you have people like that. They don't want to be found. They don't want to be with their families. And that's just that. But that was a lesson to me, to try not to care too much and look at the facts first before making assumptions. Because naturally, you want to assume, oh, he did something to her. He did nothing to her. The footage shows her running from the Airbnb straight into his Ferrari. That is not someone who's being trafficked, forced into anything. She ran to his Ferrari, stayed with him, and then the reaction was very cold to her own mother. I'm good. Don't worry about me. I'll check you later. Then she goes on to say, I don't understand why other grown people looking for me. I'm grown. I'm nobody's child. Wow. Wow. And the person who DM'd Stud was like, this is something she does. She goes on trips with people and she disappears, and the attitude is, I'm grown. And there's a lot of people like that. There's a lot of people who walk among us that's just like that. They'll go to a party with you and disappear, and they'll be like, I'm grown. I don't have to tell you I'm going to the bathroom or anything. Yeah, there's people that's like that, you know. Or, yeah, that's just how some people are. Comment, like, and subscribe if you have any crazy Miami stories, crazy girl trip stories, crazy TikTok stories. Comment, like, and subscribe.